And I hope you are doing well. The same expression, stay home, save yourself, and save Morocco. Good. So we continue about teaching grammar communicatively. When we talk about teaching grammar communicatively, we talk about the communicative language teaching approach. So here, number one, when you opt for communicative language teaching approach, number one, we teach lessons that are student-centered. We put the learner at the heart of the learning process. So everything we are going to design, we have to take into account the students' needs and wants. Number two, we create opportunities for students to use English actively because language is a means of communication. So we have to design activities based on interaction, like role play, discussions, conversations, ask and answer, etc. Number three, we create context for language use. When you are teaching grammar, it's a very great idea to start with building interest. You start with the context. The context can be a conversation. The context can be a text. The context can be pictures, showing pictures to students and asking them some questions, okay? Number four, we help students reach beyond their comfort zone. We are not teaching students in class to use English, but we are encouraging them to use English outside the classroom, with your friends, with family, asking yourself, using it in real situations, etc. So this is about communicative language teaching. Good. Now, when we are presenting grammar, there are two major ways. Presenting a grammar item in two different ways. I'm going to present a kind of mini lesson. Number one, you have to, to answer this question, which lesson did you prefer? And number two, name the approach or approaches that sum up each lesson. So let's start. I'm going to start with the first presentation. Present a lesson. Hello guys, how are you? Good? Nice. Today, we are going to learn about the simple past. Okay? Good. So, the simple past is verb plus ed. I write on the board verb plus ed. Yesterday, I played tennis. Can you repeat? Yesterday, I played tennis. Good. And you? Yesterday, I played tennis. Good. So, you see that the simple past is verb plus ed. Regular verb. Verb plus ed. Good. This is the first presentation. Now the second presentation. Hello guys. How are you? Good? Nice. I'm going to show you two pictures. Okay? Yeah. What can you see? Ah, players. So yesterday they... Oh, good. They played. What? They played soccer. Good. How many players are there? 3. So they, good. So they played soccer. Good. That's interesting. Good. Where? Where did they play? Good. In the stadium. So yesterday they played soccer in the stadium. Good. Yesterday they played soccer in the stadium. Interesting. Now, when we use the simple past, what do we say? Very good. Played. I'm going to write it. They played. So what can you observe? Excellent. It's verb plus ed. Yeah. With the regular form. Perfect. So now, my question. What's the difference between presentation number 1 and presentation number 2? They are totally different. We cannot say this approach is better than the other approach. There is no the best, but it depends on your learner's needs and wants. It depends on the lessons type. It depends on you as a teacher. Okay, good. Now, exercise. Fill in the gaps with the right words in the list. We have learner-centered, time-saving, inductive approach, teacher-centered, didactic approach, and takes time. Let me read. There are two main approaches to teaching grammar. These are the deductive and the inductive approach. is when the rule is presented and the language is produced based on the rule. The teacher gives the rule, as in the presentation number 1. From the very beginning, the teacher gives the rule. Good. Now, an is when the rule is inferred through some form of guided discovery. The teacher gives the students a means to discover the rule for themselves. As in presentation number 2, I just showed pictures. I started the context. It's guided, guiding, okay. Guiding or guided discovery approach. In other words, the former is more and the latter more. Both approaches have their advantages and disadvantages. In my own experience, the didactic approach is undoubtedly and allows more time for practicing the language items, thus making it an effective approach with lower level students. The inductive approach, on the other hand, and more beneficial to students who already have a base in the language, as it encourages them to work things out for themselves based on their existing knowledge. This is practice about 2 major approaches. Now, answers. The first one, the first presentation is deductive. Deductive is when you give the rule from the very beginning. Inductive is when you start with the context. You start with examples, you start with pictures, you start with the conversation, and you ask questions for students to observe the structure by themselves. It's guided discovery. Number 1, the presentation number 1 is teacher-centered. It's like grammar translation method. The teacher is giving the rule from the very beginning. The second one is learner-centered. The first one, which is the deductive, is time-saving. From the very beginning, you're given the rule. Full stop. Finished. Play, played. Verb plus ed is time-saving. But the second, inductive approach is, it takes some time. Because you are pushing, you are helping, you are encouraging the students to learn by him or herself. Now, as a conclusion, 2 main approaches to teaching grammar. We have deductive. Number 1, you start with the rule. Play, played, verb plus ed. Then you give the example, Bob played tennis. So we are moving from the rule. Inductive, you start with examples. Look at the picture. What did they play? Or what did they do? Okay. So you start with examples, then you give them the rule. You generate the rule with students. So moving into the rule. Okay, thank you.